Blessed morning, sisters and brothers in Christ. I am Brother Jigs of BCBP Cebu North Chapter, and I will be your host this morning. Welcome to the BCBP Cebu Area-wide Valentine's Special. But before we proceed to the program proper, let us ask for God's grace and blessings first. We do this in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord God, we adore you, we love you. Thank you that you walk with us every day, that you are with us in each moment. Thank you that your promises are true and your goodness never fails us. We thank you for the gift of life and for the gift of BCBP community. We thank you for allowing us to come together in your name. Fill our hearts with your presence always. Help us to give our worries to trust in you, and above all to trust in your unfailing love. For you have promised us, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. Please bless our virtual gathering this morning. Bless us with a strong internet connection. Please bless the speakers and everyone here. Please give us a healthy heart and good health always, so that we can continue to carry out the task you're giving us to establish your kingdom here. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good morning once again, and Kong Hei Fa Chui to the Chinese sisters and brothers here. Also, let me greet everyone also a happy Valentine's Day. You know, our talks this morning is very timely, as we celebrate Heart's Day. Sa kanta pa ni Jose Marichan, please be careful with your heart. Now, as we take care and nurture our hearts spiritually and emotionally, we also need to take care of our physical hearts healthy, especially in this time of pandemic. Thus, exercise is essential to our physical health and mental being. And these are the highlights of the talks this morning, sisters and brothers. What's the best way to stay healthy and how to lose weight? What's the best exercise for us? How can exercise battle stress? And how can we BCBP members uplift each other to do this? But before we proceed to the talks, please allow me first to call our beloved AMD, Brother Marvin Soko, to give the welcome remarks. You're muted, Tang.
Will that be okay?
That's okay na. All right.
So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. For some of you who know me, I have been overweight more than half of my life, and I'm in my early 50s already. Worse, I'm asthmatic and hypertensive. When the pandemic started early last year, I got scared. Scared because it was difficult to go to the hospital and even get a simple consultation with your doctor. I was battling fear and anxiety of what if I get the dreaded virus. I was unhealthy and obese. Worse, I lost a few friends and family members, not because of COVID, but to cardiac arrest and other heart-related ailments. And they were only in their mid-30s and 40s. Late last year, I had the chance to talk with Brother Ayel Uy and Brother John Paez. And we decided to come up with this kind of talk to help educate us on why we need to keep fit and healthy at this time of pandemic. Our speaker today has inspired me to lose weight and to keep myself fit at all times, and hope all of you will. Thank you, and please take care of your heart. Back to you, Brother Jigs.
Thank you very much, Tatang Marvin Soko, for those welcome remarks. Now we move on to the main part of our session. We have three speakers and they have pre-recorded their talks. We will be playing one video after the other. After the three videos are shown, we will go to the question and answer portion. We suggest that you type your questions in the chat box. And for those who are joining us via YouTube, you may also type your questions in the comment section of YouTube. Our three speakers are Brother John Paez, Dr. Miti Igana, and Brother Jourdan Polotan. They are into various sports, but the two things they have in common are, one, they are all marathoners. They've finished a 42K marathon. And second, they are all BCBP members. John and Jourdan are with Cebu North, and Dr. Niti is with Cebu South. And so, brothers and sisters, let us all watch and welcome our speakers, starting with Bro John Paes. Thank you.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Happy Valentine's weekend. Valentine's is that time of the year when we take care of our hearts and our loved ones. But it's equally important that we take care of our hearts. This muscular organ that pumps blood and delivers oxygen throughout our bodies and beats over 100,000 times each day. Let me begin with a shocking revelation. Just a few months ago, two of my closest friends passed away on the same day. The first was my good friend Randy, whom I had known since we played junior tennis when we were little kids. He left us at the very young age of 45. The second was Rico, a fellow sports writer who is one of the nicest people that you can meet. He was only 53. Both passed away from massive heart attack. Brothers and sisters, we don't know when our time will come. But while we are still here, alive and together with our family and friends, let us do the best that we can to take care of our hearts. I want to start with scripture and read from 1 Corinthians 6, verses 19 to 20. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. We have an obligation to take care of our bodies. Rick Warren, the pastor and author of the book The Purpose-Driven Life, says it very well. I am not the owner of my body, but I am the caretaker or manager of it. The word manager in the Bible is steward. Taking care of my body is an issue of spiritual stewardship. In fact, God tells me that one day I will have to give an account for how well I managed everything He gave to me, including my body. We need to take care of our bodies. How? We all know the basics. Eating a balanced diet, getting enough sleep, avoiding smoking and excessive drinking, maintaining a normal weight, lessening stress. We all know these. But today, I'd like to focus on one aspect that will surely improve your well-being: exercise. My goal is to convince you to exercise not just for a month or a few months and then you'll stop. My goal is to convince you to exercise for life. Exercise so that you will live a happier, more productive life. Exercise so that you will live a longer life. Why should you exercise? Here are 6 reasons. First, exercise acts as an immune booster. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed our world. Over 1 million people have died. Hundreds of thousands get afflicted every day. We have lost friends, relatives, people close to us. One of the best ways that we can ward off and fight COVID-19 is to become physically stronger. Dr. Claire Steeves of King's College London said, "Exercise has a major effect on the immune system. It's a fact we have known for decades." Many studies link moderate exercise with decreased rates of influenza, pneumonia, and other infections, as well as chronic diseases like diabetes. When you are active, your immune system is strengthened in a number of ways. Inflammation is reduced, there is an increase in the presence of innate immune cells, positively affecting your gut microbiome, all of which support your body's defense mechanisms. A stronger, more robust body will help you repel diseases, including COVID-19. Exercise boosts your immune system. Second reason, exercise combats stress. Exercise is an antidepressant. During this pandemic, our levels of stress have increased. Mental health is a major problem. Studies have shown that there are more cases of depression since COVID-19 struck than possibly at any time before. This is not surprising. Worries about getting sick, the grief of the death of a loved one, the anxiety of losing one's job or business, all these take a toll on our mental and emotional well-being. As treatment against stress, I prescribe a free medicine for you: exercise. Exercise clears the stress hormones out of your system. It helps us relax and calm down. Exercise improves our mood. Medical studies have shown that exercise produces change in parts of the body that regulate anxiety.
Speaking from experience, whenever I feel mentally drained, sluggish, or pressured, I walk, run, or bike. After the exercise, those negative feelings go away. The problems don't disappear, but whatever worries I had before the walk, for some magical reason, they become less after the walk. In fact, the more stress that you have in your life, the more exercise you need. When I use that stationary bike for 1 hour and I pedal so hard, it's as if all the stress gets released and drips away in my sweat. And after that workout, my mind is clearer. I feel much better.
Exercise makes you smarter and stronger. When you exercise, your heart rate increases, and this promotes the flow of blood and oxygen to your brain. Exercise has been shown to cause the hippocampus, a part of the brain that's vital for memory and learning, to grow in size. This serves to increase mental function. Research on students have shown that those who work out before a test get better scores. They had 2 sets of students, one who did some physical activity before the test and another who did not. Generally, those who exercised did better. And I am not surprised. In my case, I've been writing a sports column for the past 25 years. And many times when I sit to type on an article, my mind goes blank. I have zero ideas. Instead of forcing myself to think, I get up and find time to sweat. After that, the creative juices and ideas flow. Exercise also strengthens our muscles and bones. We reach our peak bone and muscle mass by the age of 30. When we hit our 40s, we begin to lose bone and muscle mass, and these can lead to injuries and disabilities. But with physical activity, especially resistance training, like lifting weights for example, we can slow and even reverse this process. Keeping our bones and muscles strong decreases our chances of osteoporosis. Lifting weights as we grow older is highly recommended.
Fourth reason, exercise helps you sleep better. Sleep is very important. Good sleep recharges us and helps protect our mental and physical health. The way you feel when you're awake during the day depends in part on what happens while you're sleeping. How can we sleep better? A good workout can help.
Dr. Charlene Gamaldo, Medical Director of Johns Hopkins Center for Sleep at Howard County General Hospital, says, "We have solid evidence that exercise does, in fact, help you fall asleep more quickly and improves sleep quality. Exercise can contribute to a more restful sleep. It increases time spent in deep sleep, the most physically restorative sleep phase. Apart from improving the quality of sleep, exercise can also help you sleep longer. Because exercise forces you to expend energy, this helps you feel more tired and ready to rest at the end of the day. Exercise is good for your heart. Heart disease is the number one cause of death worldwide. About 1/3 of all deaths is caused by a heart attack or stroke. It beats cancer, diabetes, pneumonia. Worse, this appears to have increased because of COVID-19. In the article, Why the Heart Attack Death Rate Has Doubled During COVID-19, it says, most people would do almost anything to avoid going to the hospital during the COVID-19 pandemic over fears of contracting the novel coronavirus. Unfortunately, that has included many people ignoring the signs of a heart attack. Overall, the researchers concluded people were 2.4 times as likely to die from a heart attack when compared with pre-pandemic times, probably because they were less likely to be hospitalized. What is the solution? The American Heart Association promotes exercise as one factor that can reduce health-related diseases and decrease the risk of having a heart attack. In the article, Exercise Helps Your Heart, it says, regular exercise is an important way to lower your risk of heart disease. Exercising for 30 minutes or more on most days can help you lose weight, improve your cholesterol, and even lower your blood pressure by as many as 5 to 7 points. A sedentary lifestyle, where you have little or no physical activity, doubles your risk of dying from heart disease. How does exercise help? Just as exercise strengthens the other muscles in your body, it also helps your heart muscle become more efficient and better able to pump blood throughout your body. This means that the heart pushes out more blood with each beat, allowing it to beat slower and keep your blood pressure under control.
My favorite reason for exercising is the simplest. It just feels good. It makes me happy. My morning and day are not complete unless I sweat. I feel slow and lack energy if I don't exercise. You've heard of the term runner's high. To those who run, you've experienced this. When you exercise, feel-good chemicals called endorphins are released in your body. These endorphins spark a positive, euphoric feeling. That's why I often smile while exercising because of the joy it brings. My mind is sharper and I have clear thinking. I feel good after a workout.
To summarize, here are the 6 reasons why you should exercise for life. First, exercise strengthens your immune system. Exercise is a stress buster, and it's good for our mental health. It makes you smarter and stronger. Exercise helps you sleep better. It's good for your heart. And finally, exercise just feels good and makes you happy. I hope I've convinced you on the importance and benefits of exercise. Now the question, how? How do I do it? I'll be giving you 9 tips on how to exercise. First is the number 30. Our goal is to exercise for at least 30 minutes every day, if you can. Remember our BCBP commitment to pray and read scripture for at least 30 minutes a day? We should try to do the same with exercise. There are 1,440 minutes in one day, and all you need is 30 minutes. At least 30 minutes to pray, at least 30 minutes to take care of your physical self by exercising. You can even combine praying and exercising. Our good friend Jourdan Polotan prays the rosary while running. And I know of some people who listen to podcasts that will read aloud the day's gospel readings while you pedal on that stationary bike. The goal is simple: 30 minutes of exercise every day or most days of the week.
Second tip, find the type of exercise that you enjoy doing. It's obvious. When you do something that you like, it's easy to keep on doing it again and again. Before the pandemic hit us, we had so many sports to choose from. Badminton, working out in the gym, tennis, joining a Zumba or yoga class. Not all of these options are open because of the restrictions. But we can all go back to many of these in the future when things go back to normal. The questions to ask are, what do I enjoy doing? What sport or exercise do I love to do? And then go do it.
Walking is man's best medicine, says Hippocrates. Walking is one of the best forms of exercise. If you're able to find a safe place outdoors, walking while wearing a mask is one of your best options. If you walk early mornings, you can get some sun, and that's a free dosage of vitamin D. In my case, I used to play tennis almost daily, but for the past few years, I've stopped. It takes time to travel to the court and to organize a match with your friends. And so for the past years, I've shifted to running and biking. I love running. If you want to lose weight, there's no better activity. You can run alone or with a group. You can run at any time of the day. And running is inexpensive, and there are plenty of events to join. One activity is our BCBP Be Honest Run. We organized this back in 2017 and 2018, and we had over 1,500 participants in each run. And we'll organize this once again when running events are allowed. The sport I also enjoy is biking. And I know that we have plenty of brothers in the BCBP who enjoy biking. We even have a Viber group called Biker Bros, where we upload photos of our bike rides. Biking is best because it has zero impact. It does not affect your knees and you hardly get injured from biking. The cardio workout is tremendous, and there has been a surge of bikers here in Cebu and around the world since the pandemic. I prefer to exercise early morning from 6 to 8 a.m. I usually run or bike at least an hour every day. My body every morning looks for the exercise. I feel sluggish when I don't sweat. Again, my advice, find the sport or workout that you enjoy.
Tip number 3, exercise at home. Many of us, I know, are not comfortable exercising outdoors. We are scared of the virus. And unfortunately, we do not have many big open parks or playgrounds where we can do social distancing while exercising. Don't worry. There are tens of thousands of exercises that you can enjoy doing at home, and they can be found in YouTube.
YouTube has millions of videos to help you, all for free. There's yoga, kickboxing, dancing, boxing, Pilates, any type of workout or instructional is found in YouTube. And so at this time, if you don't want to exercise outdoors, stay at home. YouTube is your indoor exercise partner. Exercise with your spouse. My wife Hasmin and I share one thing in common. We enjoy running. Back in 2018, we ran the New York City Marathon together, from the start in Staten Island to the finish in Central Park. We spent a lot of quality time together, especially during our 6-month-long training. Running is one of the best ways to spend time together as a couple. For the New York City Marathon, the whole race was one of the most memorable experiences of our life. We high-fived people. We ran alongside Monsignor Robert Ritchie, the priest who officiated the Mass the night before. We battled cramps. And of course, we crossed the finish line holding hands and celebrating with a kiss at the finish. We did the same 42-kilometer run during the 2019 Osaka Marathon, and we were set to run the 2020 London Marathon last April, but unfortunately it got cancelled. And we know of many BCBP couples who run together. One marathon couple are Dr. Sander and Mai Ogalino. We are all members of the BCMR, Brotherhood of Christian Married Runners. Exercise with a group. Find a group whose company you enjoy and exercise regularly with that group. It may be your barkada, with your family and children, or even better, with your BCBP action group. Why does working out with a group help? Dr. Dian Griesel says, workouts with others improve consistency because they involve a commitment. No-shows and cancellations get noticed by others, and positive peer pressure can help curtail the urges to skip a workout or to quit. A study was conducted related to a weight loss program, and there was a 76% completion rate for those who did the program alone. For those who involved their friends, this increased to a 95% chance of success. The reasons are simple. We don't want to let down our friends. If you scheduled a run at 6:30 in the morning and the alarm rings at 5:45 and you feel sleepy and tired, it's so easy to go back to sleep. But if you have 3 other friends whom you promised to meet, you won't skip. You get up and run. For us BCBP members, I have a good suggestion that we can apply to our action groups.
In your next action group meeting, include, as part of your tasking, a commitment from each member to exercise. The tasking has to be very specific. For example, a brother will commit and say, starting next week, I will walk 45 minutes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I will walk 1 hour when I have extra time on Sundays. It has to be specific. Let's ask each action group member to commit on a tasking of exercise. Let's do this, sisters and brothers. Which brings me to the next tip, number 6.
Record every workout. You may do this on a piece of paper, or like in my case, I have a Google Sheet file, like an Excel file, and I type after each workout the distance that I've ran or biked. Why is keeping a record important? One reason is you'll feel happy and proud with the total mileage that you've accumulated after a week or a month. This will motivate you further. An even better suggestion with the workouts that you record is this: show it to your friends and family. With us at the BCBP, Let's show the record of our workouts to our action group each week by sending a photo or screenshot. Let this be part of our tasking. This simple act of recording and showing to others has a powerful effect. It's called accountability. If you promise to run, for example, at least 5 kilometers every week, you will do it because you want to prove to the others that you can. Tip number 6, record your exercise activities and show it to your action group, to your barkada, to your family.
Next very important tip, and related to the previous one, is to set a target. During normal times, this target may be a big one. For example, I want to join the Ironman race in Cebu and swim, bike, and run. Or I want to run a full 42-kilometer event, like the Cebu Marathon. The bigger the goal, the better. From my experience, this act of setting a big target can transform your life. Your schedule will change, your priorities will change, all for the better.
But during this time of COVID-19, many of these outdoor events are not allowed. But you can still set a target. That target may be to walk 4 times a week. It may be to lose 8 pounds every month. It may be to run 5K every week. It may be to take 10,000 steps every day. Whatever your target, make it very specific. The more specific the target, the better. Overspend on exercise. Yes, I said the word overspend. I know times are difficult, but if you can, budget as much as you can afford and spend that for exercise. Preferably something that your whole family can use too. There's a saying, better to spend money on fitness today and get healthy than to spend that on medicines in the future. Overspend on fitness. It may be buying a treadmill so you can walk or run safely at home. It might be buying dumbbells so you can lift weights. A stationary bike or elliptical machine are very good investments. One item that I suggest you buy is a sports watch. If you can buy one that has GPS, so that your distance can be measured while you walk, run, or bike. You don't have to buy the latest 30,000 peso Garmin smartwatch. There are many options now that are quite inexpensive. I say overspend because the more you spend on something, the more you will treasure it and use it. Tip number 9, consult your doctor. There are 3 basic questions to ask before you start exercising. First, have you led a sedentary lifestyle with almost zero exercise? If the answer is yes and you have been inactive, it's best to see a doctor first. Second, do you have any signs of heart problems or any other health concerns, like for example diabetes or kidney or lung diseases? Again, it's best to see a doctor first. Third, if you plan to engage in high-intensity workouts like running, or for example, if you plan to join a triathlon event or a marathon, it's best to see a doctor first. A very good piece of advice is to have an annual executive checkup in the hospital. If you can have a full stress test that will include a treadmill stress test, that would be best. To summarize, here are 9 tips that you can do. First is to commit to exercise at least 30 minutes every day, or most days of the week. Second is to find a workout that you enjoy. Third is to be ready to exercise at home. Fourth is to spend time working out with your spouse. Fifth, exercise with a group. Next, record all your activities. Set a target. Eighth, overspend on fitness equipment, and finally consult your doctor.
Brothers and sisters, to end, I want to go back to the beginning. To go back to the beginning of my life when I was a little child. You see, when I was still very young, my dad, Bunny, and my mom, Alan, got me into sports. Same with my siblings when they were growing up. Here's a photo of me at a very young age.
No, I did not play tennis yet, and that's not my trophy. But it shows how much my parents wanted us to get into sports. In elementary, my dad built a half-court basketball court in our backyard in Bacolod. Every night, my brother Charlie and I would turn on the lights and play basketball for hours. When I'd get sick, it wasn't medicine that cured me, but going out to sweat away the fever while playing basketball.
I credit my dad and mom for this. They were always there for us, encouraging us to be active and watching our every game. Now, many of you here are parents, and one of the best legacies that you can leave your children is for them to live healthier lives. But remember the saying, you cannot inspire others to accomplish what you are not willing to try. Dear parents, let us do it for our children. Let us teach them at a young age to exercise and be healthy. Let us be their role models. Let us also do it for ourselves so we can live longer lives that we can spend with our loved ones. And finally, let us do it to glorify our Lord, who has given us our bodies, our talents and abilities, all of which we cannot enjoy and live to the fullest unless we are healthy and strong. Sisters and brothers, thank you and God bless. Let's go.
Listen to the words of the first letter of Paul to the Corinthians. Do you not know that the runners in the stadium all run in the race, but only one wins the prize? Run as to win. Every athlete exercises discipline in every way. They do it to win a perishable crown, but we an imperishable one. Thus, I do not run aimlessly. I do not fight as if I were shadow boxing. No, I drive my body and train it, for fear that, after having preached to others, I myself should be disqualified. Running after more than 11 years can still be enjoyable, beneficial, and fun. While I was reminiscing on my first few runs in June 2009, it dawned on me that while I've been running for only 1/5 of my life, you'd think it would have been much longer considering all the lessons running has taught me. As I reflect on all those kilometers that I've run at all times of day and night, under the sun and in the rain, on the roads and a few trails, a couple of triathlon relays, countless fun runs and half marathons, a dozen marathons and 9 ultramarathons, I realized that the more I give to running, the more it gives back to me. And so, to celebrate the gift of running, I am privileged to have learned these lessons. Starting somewhere is always better than never starting at all. I have never been sporty ever since I was in school. I tried running at the Abuyana Sports Complex in my 30s, but one round of 400 meters left me gasping for breath. At age 41, I said to myself, why not give it another try? Thankfully, it went on and on until now. Don't push yourself too hard. Listen to your body. Remember, we just have one. It's okay to slow down and take a break and do walks in between. It is better to be undertrained than to be injured. There are times that I don't have the luxury of time to train, but I say to myself, I can do it as long as I am not injured. Lucky shoes aren't actually lucky, but believing in yourself almost always brings good fortune. Confidence is the key. Trust that you can do it. Clarity of mind and purpose make the long and hard runs infinitely more manageable. I run to make me fit. I don't compete with others. I run at my own pace. You don't need to win any medals or break any personal records, but you need to be true to yourself. During this pandemic, virtual runs have been a fad. I was privileged to be an organizer and a participant again for a 50-kilometer ultramarathon last October. But this time it was virtual. All runners ran at their own time, pace, and place. Honesty was a virtue one had to practice. It's a lot easier to keep going than to restart. In 2012, when I lost my husband Ram, I quite lost the interest to run because I was used to running with him by my side. Then shortly thereafter, I realized I had to keep going and doing the thing that we both love doing most together. Running can teach us many things about ourselves and about life. Yes, it has taught me patience, discipline, and many more good things. Treasure the friends made through running. They've been with you at your best and at your worst. Running inspires all sorts of things, other people and you. If a friend in her mid-60s can still do a 50-kilometer ultramarathon, why can't we? Running can and should be a joyful experience. It is meant to be. God has given us our physical powers in order that we may serve Him joyously, help one another, and by discipline in accord with the law of God, make our body fit for every good work. God therefore approves of recreations for the relaxation of the mind and the exercise of the body. Care of our bodies fosters mental well-being, and we more readily establish friendly and affable relationships with other people. And yes, even if I am 11 pounds heavier and 11 years older, I certainly want to be able to run not just for 11 years, but into old age. No one has failed who keeps trying and keeps praying. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Keep safe, everyone, and God bless and protect us all.
Good morning, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, John, for giving me this opportunity to share a little of my fitness journey. One of the things I learned from my late father was the importance of balance. Sound mind, sound spirit, in a sound body. He repeated this to me over and over again as a young child, and I found it by engaging in sports, taking my studies seriously and doing well, and serving in church. I've been always active all my life, from tubig-tubig, shatong, dakup-dakup, gubat-gubat sa sementeryo, biking, basketball, shot put, wall climbing, weights, Muay Thai, badminton, and now long-distance running and biking. I have never stopped moving, never stopped exercising, but I also never stopped eating, thinking that my metabolism was the same as my youthful days. Up until 2014, I was walking the dog, lifting weights, spending around 10 hours a week on focused exercise, but eating buffet breakfasts and then buffet lunches and then buffet dinners during my business trips. Let me share with you something. That's me in July 2014. 8 to 10 hours of exercise, but already a week in the 98 to 100 kilogram range and a 38-inch waistline. But that was the year that I decided, on invitation, to join my first Ironman as a biker on a relay team for the August 2015 staging of the Ironman. By 2016, I had done 2 Ironmans, and Jingle, my late wife, after 21 years of living with a kidney transplant, had kidney failure and got back on dialysis. For those of you who don't know, that's 3 times a week, 4 hours each time, but with the travel time to and fro the center, dialysis center, hook up, take down, that was practically 7 hours each time. What to do? I took careful stock of my own health and decided to get serious about getting healthy. I will not share with you the details, but would gladly share with you, hopefully in the Q&A, and if you so desire, one-on-one. Later, I will show you my email address, and for many of you, you know how to reach me. That was how I looked in August 2015, and on the other side is last November 2020, during the staging of the End Polio Ride. Why was getting fit so important? I believe that the body is the temple of our soul, and we have only one temple, one lifetime to get it right. How can we serve the Lord or our loved ones if we are sick, limping, injured, or just not healthy enough to move properly because of the things we did not do or we could have done, or the things that we did to ourselves? I believe that there are many things we can do to achieve good health, and not just weight loss, but none of them are easy. There is no one-size-fits-all solution, but I know a few things to be of solid science. 1, 80% of weight loss is the things that you put into your mouth. Yes, the quantity, the quality, the frequency, and even the time you eat makes a big difference. Only 20% of weight loss comes from exercise. You exercise not really to lose weight, but to improve the way your body moves. And yes, one of the benefits is that you look better and your insides get better too. One of the best gifts that we can give ourselves and to our loved ones is to live out the rest of our years in the best health that we can achieve. I personally believe that we cannot lengthen our days, but we can drastically shorten it by the choices we make, by the things we do and don't do. I would gladly share with you a couple of principles that work for me. One is intermittent fasting, previously known as time-restricted eating. Fasting sounds so negative, while you say time-restricted eating sounds more positive. The second principle I followed in my health journey is low heart rate training, also known as the Maffetone method or the slow burn. This is where I am. This is the result of those 2 principles that I followed. 75 to 76 kilogram weight range right now, 32-inch, less than a 32-inch waistline. 31 is a bit too tight. I entering the pandemic in March of 2020. I plateaued at 83 kilograms, but during the pandemic, the quarantine, lockdown, I decided to ramp up my training, take my eating, watch my eating more carefully, and I reached this weight in November 2020 and have kept it off. God willing, I'll be able to hit my ultimate goal of 70 before the end of the year. This is what's happening inside that we cannot see. If you look at my resting heart rate while sleeping, I achieve as low as 39, 45, 47, as high as 52 beats per minute while I'm sleeping. Is it easy? No way. It's one of the hardest things I have to do in my life. 4 years and counting. And you cannot let your guard down. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Of course, yes. Just the way I move, just how good I feel, how strong I feel. And yeah, it's absolutely worth all the sacrifices and the mental discipline that and the focus that I had to put into it. One body, one lifetime to get it right. It is the best gift that we can give to ourselves and to our loved ones, the gift of good health. Last week in the breakfast class, in our chapter's breakfast on February 6th, I shared this Latin phrase, "Vincit qui se vincit." He who conquers conquers himself. Join me. If you have questions, you can join me. You can reach me on this email. Better yet, join me when I run and when I bike, and you will be so amazed at what our bodies and what determination can achieve. Yes, I believe as a community we have enough knowledge base, wisdom, practical wisdom, all the mistakes all of us have made, and there's enough wisdom and knowledge that we can share so that we can have one journey to good health. Again, thank you for taking the time to listen to me and for this opportunity to share. I look forward to question and answers or hearing from you privately. Have a good day, brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Jourdan Polotan, Sister Doc Miti Igana, and sisters and brothers. Again, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We hope you have learned something from our videos and talks. And again, we're so happy to join you here. And right now, we'd like to start our question and answer portion. So there's a first question. I guess this is from Sol Veloso. Again, you can type in your questions in the chat box in Zoom. So first question, I think from Sol Veloso. How do you know it's too late to start running, and what medical tests must we take before exercising? So maybe I'd like to ask Brother Jourdan to talk a little bit about your experience. I know you did a lot of sports before, but you got into running just a few years ago.
So I started running. I hated long distance running. I started running just, when was this, John? When you invited me for Osaka. But the tips that John shared about us getting a medical clearance, seeing a doctor first, that's very important. When is it too late? It's never too late to start running. I started running. I did a run walk, 1 minute run, 1 minute walk, 1 minute run, 1 minute walk. So I had a timer in my watch. Every 1 minute I'd run, and then every 1 minute I'd walk. So I was 1 minute run, 1 minute walk for more than 3 months. And then I slowly increased my running time, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So after 2 years, I'm now in 7-minute run and 1 minute walk. So you just have to listen to your heart rate. Later, I think we'll have time to answer about how to watch our heart rate. Yeah, so I think it's never too late. Start with walk, and then increase your pace in walk, and then you add a 1 minute run, 1 minute walk. The walk run is a very good method of start getting into running.
Thank you, Brother Jourdan. Doc Miti, who's run how many? 9? Was it 9 ultra marathons and 12 marathons?
Yes. Thankfully, yes. To answer also Saul's question, when is it? It's never too late to start running. I started at age 41. That was 11 years ago, and to start, I actually started with 3K, 3 kilometers, and then gradually increasing the distance. And of course, I never compete with others. I run at my own pace. So yeah, if you want to start running, you can just walk run like what Jourdan said. You can start running, and it actually actual marathons and ultra marathons, I do Galloway. That's a technique that it's usually like 5 minutes running and then 1 minute walk in between. I don't run straight for the whole distance, especially for like 42 kilometers or 50 kilometers run. Yeah, I run in between, and actually I actually reached the finish line, and I finished strong.
there's no last pag actually because I have breaks in between. So going back to Saul's question, it's never too late to start running. I've had friends who started like in their 50s. Yeah, but yeah, you start slow and with shorter distances.
Okay, I want to add to what Brother Jourdan and Sister Mitty added. So I think we have to recognize that each one is different. No, there are many of us who have been into sports all their life and probably are starting at a higher base. There are some of us who have barely exercised. So it's again, walk and run at your own pace. So the key, I think, is to do it gradually. You don't want to just all of a sudden be running marathons right away. So just do it gradually. Okay, so next question is, I think, from Brother Edwin Lim. I can't sleep more than 7 hours, maybe 6 hours average. So what's a good number of hours of sleep? So maybe Doc Mitty, you want to start with this?
Actually, for our age category, it's actually 6 to 8 hours. But yeah, if it depends actually on yeah, if it's sometimes you just need 6 hours, but quality sleep. But like for example, like me, I'm a superficial sleeper. I don't sleep deeply because I listen to my phone almost always because anytime I get called 24/7. Yeah, but if you are into a deep sleep, 6 hours is okay. Yeah. It depends on the quality, not so much on the length of the sleep that you get.
Okay, thanks for that. I think we had a talk last night by Dr. Judy Lautan, and of course, I think we all know she mentioned 7 to 9 hours. No, again, we all know 8 hours is, I think, the gold standard, but not many of us are reaching that. But I think the quality of the sleep is very important. So we have a question here from our good friend Maximo, who's also a marathoner himself and a parent whose children are very much into sports, no, elite athletes. So Maxi has a question here. When you do your daily run exercise, what is the minimum heart rate that you are trying to achieve to make your run feel good? So I think I'd like to throw this to Brother Jourdan.
Yeah.
Tell us about heart rate and what you do, because you really do this.
Yeah, so I follow a low heart rate training method. So I train in my zone 2 80% of the time. So zone 2 is 220 minus your age, and then 70 to 80% of that. So I think when we train in zone 2, you don't push your heart too much. We should leave the high intensity training to a minimum. So just 20% of the time. If you listen to your heart rate, each time I found that I've been slowly, the operative word is slowly, increasing my pace in my zone 2. So there are many, Maxi, you can research what your zone 2 is. There are several methods of computing, and you find something that is comfortable with you. So I think John said, it's good to overspend for exercise. One of the things you can overspend on is a good heart rate monitor. It's very important that we listen to our heart, because if our heart is stressed, if our heart is not able to get good oxygenated blood throughout our body, then we won't be able to exercise. There's no, like Doc Mitty shared, we're not running a race, right? When you exercise, when you bike, when you run, you don't have to be the fastest, right? You need to, we're doing this so that we are taking care of the temples of our souls. So you don't want to build too fast that it will destroy your temple. Low heart rate training is very important. So invest in a good heart rate monitor. It doesn't have to be so expensive, but an effective heart rate monitor is so important. And you can Google a low heart rate training Maffetone method. That's Maffetone. And there's so many tips for exercising. Maxi, you email me. Padadaan ka og link. Ha? Thank you.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you, brother. Thanks, Maxi. To add, no, and I think I mentioned it in my talk earlier. I think having an executive checkup, if we can do this once a year, is very, very important. Again, especially if you plan to do more exercise. Again, not all of us are that comfortable with going to the hospital and having these checkups, but if you can, having a full panel executive checkup will really be good, including a stress test, because that will really tell you everything about your body, and maybe will also tell you what your maximum heart rate should be. So I think that would be a good tip. Okay, next, we've got a question here for Doc Meaty. My wife has maintenance for high blood. Is she allowed to walk or run?
Yeah, actually, I have friends who are cardiologists, and they actually encourage their patients to engage in running, because example, if the patient is hypertensive and with increased cholesterol levels, we know that running is an activity that can burn your calories, can burn your fats. So actually, it's a very good exercise for those um, who have increased blood pressures, increased cholesterol. Yes, but again, you have to listen to your body. Don't push yourself too much. Exercise, and then do not go like, you don't have to run fast. You can just jog, or you can just walk and run, and start with the shorter distances again. So even if you're hypertensive, if you have other problems, running can still be good for you, but don't go into the long distance runs. Do it gradually, but you can do it later when you have permission from your cardiologist.
Okay, thanks for that, Doc Meaty. There's a question here from what's it? Is this from Tab? How I wish to be able to run, but what kind of exercise would you recommend for elders and senior citizens? So anyone wants to reply to this?
Yeah, you can start with brisk walking, dancing. Dancing is a very good exercise. So I think dancing with your spouse, with your partner is also a good way for you to bond. And walking, remember our BCBP to our tip with HHWW, holding hands while walking is a very good exercise too. Just don't grip too hard and hurt your partner's hand. Hold lightly. And then when you're walking with your partner, make sure you walk in well-lighted streets. Ayaw mong adto sa ngit-ngit para dili mo matakil po. Yeah, I'm walking. Just brisk walking is a good start, and slowly increasing your pace. I always say not every running is not for everyone, but you might be surprised that running is also for you when you do it slowly and gradually. Somebody asked about the knees. You go to YouTube. There are a lot of exercise. You put in bulletproof knees, and there are exercises to increase the strength of your knees. Um, and there's a proper way of landing your feet. There are so many brothers and sisters in BCBP who run, and really we just need to share our common experience together. Don't do it alone. There's so much knowledge out there in our community, in the internet, of how to run injury free. I started running at when I was 52. So, and yeah, and I'm now 54. No, I 51. I started running when I was 51. So and thank God I've been injury free because I watch my heart rate. I do the low heart rate training method. So it's never too late to start running.
Yeah, I think to add to what Jourdan said, walking is also one of the best forms of exercise. Again, if running is too strenuous for you, and we even see people, though again the malls, many are avoiding the malls these days, but we see a lot of people going to the malls, availing of the comforts of the mall, and then walking around the mall. So walking is really one of the best options. So we have a question here from Mars Kanitan for Doc Meaty. What is left ventricular remodeling? What is the possible cause of it? Is it safe to run or bike
with this condition, and what are the risks?
Yeah, bro Mars, yes. Actually, I'm an obstetrician gynecologist. I'm not an authority to answer this specific condition. Yes, I can refer you to my cardio friends or cardiologist friends who are into running also. But is it safe to run and bike? I think it is. But again, just the minimal activity and just avoid the very strenuous physical activity. Yes, I have friends who have heart problems and they are into running also or biking.
Okay, thanks for that, Doc Miti. We have a message here from Brother Eugene Orbita, bro, sis, for an angioplasty operated and went back walking for an average of 1 hour, but I stopped because I felt my heart squeezing. I do karate anyway every other day for an average of 1 hour. Please give advice. I'm a senior. So again, we're just giving our own personal experiences here. Of course, if you have some medical conditions, I think your cardio would really be the best person to advise you, because the last thing that we want while exercise is good, it can also be harmful to the body if you also maybe do too much, no, or if it's something that will go against your condition. Okay, please clarify the myth of drinking icy cold water to quench thirst while exercising or running. Sister Butch Salera, cold water.
Doc Miti, you want to answer that?
What's the question again about the cold water?
The myth of drinking icy cold water. Is it good or bad, or anything wrong with it?
Actually, all runners would want the water stations to provide us the very cold water, the water with the ice. Yeah, it's actually very it offers very good relief, especially in long distance runs. So yeah, we prefer the cold water, and I think it doesn't do any harm to us. It does actually energize us during the run. So it's important that during runs, as you've noticed, there are usually water stations 1.5 kilometers to 2 kilometers every 1.5 to 2 kilometers along the way. So actually cold water is very good.
I agree with Doc Miti, especially when we run, when the temperature is hot and the sun is out. There's nothing like cold water. So cold water is really quenches our thirst.
Yes.
Nothing like very cold water in the station, di ba? Even when we ran, John and I ran in the Osaka Marathon, we wanted cold water. I think we were running in 11, 12 Celsius, right? But pag abot na mo sa station, mangita ka pa may tubig ng bugno. It just really cools down the body. So whether there's a myth or not, if it's a myth or not, but for us, when we're running, especially in a race, it's nothing as refreshing as drinking something really cold. Yeah.
Okay, at this point, I'd
most
like
of us have been injury free just by listening to our body, listening to our heart.
Yeah, I'd like to bring in Brother Marvin Soko. Brother Marvin, are you here? Can I ask that Brother Marvin be spotlighted, our area managing director? Bro, I know that you were up to 227 pounds a few years ago, and then you dropped to 180 plus, almost 40 pounds. So maybe you can share with us some more of how you did it, mainly how you did it.
Yeah. Actually, I started exercising at the very start at the age of 51 years old. Last year, when the pandemic came in, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was April of last year that I started doing brisk walking, until I met a neighbor of mine who is a coach in playing badminton. So I played badminton extensively for 3 months until I injured my left shoulder, so I need to stop. But I think I agree with Brother Jourdan when he said that it's not basically only exercising. It's also on the food intake, no? The way you take things. I remember I'm overweight for more than half of my life, actually. I was 227. I was averaging around 227 to 20, 30 pounds. And then, unfortunately, I'm asthmatic. I'm also hypertensive. So it came to my mind, I think I better try to keep myself healthy, especially in the time pandemic, wherein most of the time we're just at home, no, doing things at home, doing things remotely, no. So I started exercising. I played badminton for 3 months until when I saw that I just lose a little weight. So I decided to change the by eating habits. Before, I used to have every meal. I used to have 2 cups of rice every meal, and even more. I cannot eat without soft drinks right after, and I always drink cold water after meal. And when I started reducing my food intake, I tried to cut my carbs. Instead of eating 2 cups of rice, I do the things gradually. I had it 1 cup na lang. And then after which, kung kaya na ako, I decided to have half cup na lang, no? So I also lessen my sugar. I love ice cream. I love cakes. I love chocolates, and I love drinking soft drinks. So I cut all of that, and and I don't drink cold water anymore. Every after meal, I used to drink hot water with lemon. So because of that, I never realized that um, I didn't expect to lose weight. Actually, it was my friends who told me about it when they saw me, because I have to have a shirt size of 3XL, and when I was wearing it, people would laugh at me. My friends would laugh at me because it seems that I was like they called me the scarecrow because my shirt was too big for me. And I never imagined in my wildest dream that I could fit in already with the size of large and XL, maybe within that, not medium. So today I am 188 pounds. My target then was around 180. But when my doctor told me, Marv, don't expect to hit 180 because of your age, no, because of my slow metabolism already. What he advised me was just to maintain the weight that I have right now and to keep myself healthy at all times. No, so that's what I did. No, so even up to now, it's almost a year. I feel light. I feel great. No, so I hope for our brothers sisters who are listening right now, it's not late to exercise, not late to lose weight. No, I was 51, and as I have told you earlier, I was overweight, and imagine for what 30 years, I think. So at least it's not too late for some of our members that are listening right now. So let's start. Let's start. So thank you, John. Thank you, Jourdan. Thank you, Dr. Mitch, for encouraging me to really lose weight. I hope I could sustain it. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you, Brother Marvin.
You're welcome.
It's so nice to hear your personal story, and I think my takeaway there is it's never too late, no, to lose weight and to be healthier. In fact, talking about cutting down on some of the things that we love to eat, well, Ash Wednesday is coming up, Lent is coming up, so maybe there's no better way to start giving up something. I'll give up soft drinks for Lent, so maybe that's something. Now, related to that question, from brother our chap Ariel, sister Arlene, diet was mentioned. What diet or food would you recommend? And I'd like to ask Brother Jourdan to answer this. He gave a very nice message in his talk earlier that actually 80% of losing weight is what we put in our mouths. Exercise, of course, helps, but nothing beats diet. So, George, can you tell us more about what you do?
Yeah. Okay, sure. Thanks. Thank you, John. The method I'm following is intermittent fasting. So before it was called IF, it was called time restricted eating. So there's a 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours, even a 20-hour fast. Personally, I do a 14-hour fast. It's very simple. I make sure I finish eating dinner by 7 p.m. And so add 14 hours. My breakfast is after 9 a.m. When you do that, you give your digestive system a time to rest and recover during the evening. So I believe what happened to me, I was not watching the kind of food that I was eating first. I started doing this fast. And after 3 weeks, I started to see my weight come down very slowly. The nice thing about the a proper intermittent fasting is that it happens slowly. It doesn't happen very fast. So my it took me around almost 3 years to lose 22 kilograms. So I was losing 3 to 4 kilograms a month. What did I eat? A balanced diet, just a balance of protein, carbs, and good fat. So, but also as you begin to lose weight, as you exercise more, I think my body tells me more about the things that are good for me. So although I still have cake almost every afternoon. I find that the slices are getting smaller. So I still love my sweets, but it doesn't take so much to satisfy me. If you know the chocolate covered macadamia nuts from SNR, I will have 3 to 4 after lunch. Just 4 pieces. Mabusog na ko. So it takes a lot less sweets to satisfy my sugar craving. Yeah. Um, there's so much information on time restricted eating or intermittent fasting. I suggest you look it up, study it, and find a length of fasting that works for you. Don't go for 16 hours right away. Try 12 hours. 12 hours between dinner and breakfast. And then move it to 13 and then move it to 14. The problem with us is that we don't give our bodies a time to rest. Our stomachs need to be fully empty or so that for it to rest and recover. Imagine if there's always food in our stomach, it doesn't have a chance to recover. That's a very toxic, very acidic environment. And if there's food all the time, it doesn't stop. The stomach has to be given a chance to rebuild itself at night. And I understand that our liver also rests at a certain time of the day. And then if there's still food in our body and then our liver is already asleep, yeah, I drink during the 14-hour fast. You can take anything without calories. So tea, coffee without sugar or cream, no fake calories like Coke Zero, water as much as you want. You know that the signal for thirst and neurological signal for thirst and hunger are the same. So if you think you're hungry, drink water first. Maybe you're just thirsty. Most of us are perpetually dehydrated. Yeah, maybe we're just thirsty. We're not hungry. Try drinking water first before you put food in your mouth.
Thanks for that, bro. A question for Doc Nipi. It's been said that as women age, we lose muscles. Are there any supplements that you take or can suggest to prevent injuries, especially with the mileage that you do?
Yeah. Collagen is very good. Collagen, yes, we can take collagen. It's actually 3 capsules once a day. It's good for your muscles, your joints. Yes. And personally, I have this, it's not to advertise because I've not been given free samples. But before I do runs, I drink Propan Fit. It's not the Propan Fit with iron. It's not readily available anywhere, but if I get to drink it before a marathon or ultra marathon, it gives me the energy that I need for the next 6 to 8 hours. Yeah, and it's important also to maintain on iron. We need iron, ferrous sulfate, any brand, of course, will do. Yeah, especially if you have history of anemia, especially that women in the reproductive age group have menstrual cycles every month. So we have to replace that blood loss every month. So iron is very important, not directly on for your muscles, but for the whole for your whole body system, particularly. Yes. Can I add also something regarding the nutrition? that was asked earlier, yes, it's important to have a very balanced diet. And I don't know if most of you are aware that before long runs, we actually have the carbo loading, di ba, John? Yeah, carbo loading. We have to have increased carbs before a marathon to have enough energy source for the long runs. Yes, but before that, it's very important to have a balanced diet. If you don't want to lose to gain weight, because one of the benefits of exercise, of course, is to maintain a very good weight. Of course, you have to avoid too much carbs the whole time, and we just have carbo loading like few days before the run. But a very balanced diet is very important.
Wow, thank you for that, Doc. We have a question here. Can you give guidance on the combination of cardio and lifting exercises for prime age, as well as mature age brackets? Any other factors to consider? So that's a very good point. We've been talking a lot of cardio exercises, running, even walking, biking, but how important is lifting weights? I think I mentioned in my talk that as we grow older, we lose some of our bone strength. So it's very important to also lift weights. So George, I see you nodding your head.
Yeah, I still lift weights for balance. So I do my, but most of the weights most of the weight resistance training I do now is body weight. So there's a lot of body weight exercises that we can do: squats, push-ups, handstands, and there's several varieties of push-ups. I do for arms. I do some dumbbells. I've been lifting a lot lighter right now because I prefer not to have so much bulk when I'm running or biking. So it's up to you. I think a 50-60 cardio, 50-40 weights, but weight training is very important. A lot of endurance runners, endurance athletes forget to do weights or upper body exercises, and you see them so thin. And what you don't use, your body will lose. So if you, I think putting in weight exercises is also very important, but it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a gym to lift weights. Yeah, a lot of, YouTube is such a, it's just a wealth of resources. You go to YouTube, you search body weight exercises, and then you'll have a ton of results, and you have 10 minutes, 20 minutes. But yes, doing weights is very important for us. And to keep my knees bulletproof, I do this bulletproof knee exercises, which I just found on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that. There was a direct message to me. We've been talking about exercising and working out, but what's our guidance on rest and recovery? So very, very important point when you do a lot of exercises already. Doc Miti, can you tell us how important also rest is for those who exercise regularly?
Okay, yeah, very important. Yeah, especially now during the pandemic, we have a lot of time to rest because we've adjusted to our schedules, and a lot of us maybe have been working from home. So there's a lot of time to rest. It's very important to rest, and actually depends on the age group also and your exposure to what you are used to, what exercise you're used to. We don't actually recommend daily exercises, like you do it every day, like if you're not used to it. But if you're used to it, yes, as John mentioned in the talk, it's important to, as as we are used to reading our Bibles, prayer time for at least 15 minutes to 30 minutes, put in exercise also 30 minutes. And equivalent to that, of course, is rest. So as much as you exercise, you have to also to get a good rest. And yeah, and if you are putting too much on exercising, you have to also balance with good rest. As what John also mentioned in this talk, it's important to have exercise, good rest, good sleep, and good diet. So it's a balance actually of everything. So if you have run a long distance, then you have to take a long rest after that. Recover, rest and recover. Do not push yourself like running another long distance the following weekend. You have to rest, and you have to schedule your runs. You have to schedule your exercise, and it should be balanced also. Yes.
Thanks, Doc Mitty. Brother
Yeah,
Mike,
I like
go
what
ahead, bro.
Mitty said. It's better to be undertrained than overtrained and injured. So
Yes.
never overtrain. Where there's no awards for ruining your knees because you ran too much. Yeah.
Yes, and a lot of people during the time when they run, during the event itself, yeah, they're already last pug. They
Yeah.
don't give, they don't perform well anymore because they have been overtrained.
Yeah, and with the low heart rate training, we finish a race, di ka laspag. I was telling John that on Sundays I can run 3 hours straight, slowly, watch just in zone 2 and run walk and just feel good after. Before pag human sa 3 hour run, I'm not dead. I can still walk and basta in zone 2. Yeah. I think we should, that's a research we can do. Find out the zones, heart rate zones that we each have, and train in zone 2, and you will be fine. Zone 1 is too light. But when we train in zone 2, we're in a nice sweet spot that we can keep going on.
Okay,
And
there's
John,
a.
can
Go
I
ahead,
add
Doc.
also?
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Doc.
You mentioned about there was a question about the tests, having tests before, having yourself tested before engaging in especially strenuous physical activity. You know what, John? I'm very thankful to Cebu City Marathon because before Cebu City Marathon, it's my schedule to have a test. I have to the echo, the stress echo test. So it's because of the CCM that I get to have myself tested because I don't want to run the 42 kilometers without having without making sure that I am fit to do the run. So so I'm very thankful for these marathons and ultra marathons because I get to have myself checked before these runs. Yeah, it's very important to have yourself checked before the run.
Thank you. Maybe one last question. Is it okay to shower immediately after a workout? A cold shower, warm shower? I don't know. What do you guys do?
Me, I cool down first, but if for those of you who don't know, a lot of these high performance athletes have a cryogenic bath. You know that LeBron James has an ice bath
Yeah.
immediately after playing. Usain Bolt, they plunge into a bathtub filled with ice to lessen inflammation. So do what you're comfortable with. Me, I wait for. I've been taking cold showers for 1 year now. I've avoided hot showers for more than a year, and I just feel better. There's a lot of literature about taking cold showers, and uh, I looked at it, I liked it, and I practice it. So again, there's no one solution fits all. You try to see if you're comfortable with cold showers or warm showers. I think the science on that is really based on a matter of what works for you, not just a matter of taste, but what works for you. So after the Osaka Marathon, uh, I brought 3 bags of ice and put it in the bathtub and I soaked. The next day I was fine. Yeah. So I think there's some science, a lot of science on the effects of a cold shower or ice bath on anti-inflammation. Read out on it and consult a good doctor. Make doctors your friend. Don't be ashamed to shy to ask a doctor for advice. Kay kami ni John, MD rami ni John, murag doktor.
Okay, so Doc Mitty and Brother Jourdan, I think we're down to our last few minutes so we can end on time as we stated at 11:30. So maybe just some final words from each one before we conclude. Doc Mitty, anything final words that you want
Yes,
to add?
yeah. It's never too late to start exercising. It's never too late to start running. Yes, it's very important to listen to your body. What suits you well, then it's okay. Never compete with anybody. Yes, just give time, and it's very important to take care of your heart, to take care of your body, as we are all taking care of our souls and our minds and mental health. So there should be a balance. If asked, if you say to yourself, I don't have time, there's always time. Everybody's busy. So you have to have time for everything, to take care of your mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical health, of course. So yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity, John. Yeah, I hope we have imparted a lot of knowledge and a lot of our insights to our brothers and sisters in this community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc Nipi. Thank you. Brother Jourdan.
Yes, I suggest that you use your time for exercise as a time for prayer, because this is the temple of our soul. You know that I pray. I mention to the Lord my specific weight goal when I'm running. So I pray that I'll hit 80 kilograms by the time I do the Osaka Marathon. Lord, help me hit 80 kilograms. And my prayer is, Sacred Heart of Jesus, I put my trust in you. I probably say 1,000, hundreds of Sacred Heart of Jesus, I place my trust in you. So in a run, I will finish 3 or 4 rosaries, the chaplet, and I don't have music when I run, or I just use it as a time for prayer and reflection. Also, my quiet time. So use your exercise, because yeah, I think exercise is not just a physical experience, but also a spiritual experience for me personally. And I believe when you begin to see exercise from that point of view, you will want to engage in it more easily. So you will commit to doing exercise. This is also my prayer to the Lord. This is my prayer time. My running is my prayer time. My biking is my prayer time. So I pray that we support each other in this journey of good health. We cannot overstate it that the body is the only temple of our soul, and we only have one lifetime to get it right. Let's do it right, brothers and sisters. Let's support one another. Let's encourage one another. Let's correct one another. And yeah, let's do this together. Thank you, John. Thank you, BCBP, my brothers and sisters. Thank you for this opportunity. Have a good morning.
So before we end, we want to thank again our area managing director, AMD Marvin Soko, for giving us this opportunity to do this activity. I think it's not a coincidence that our title, Taking Care of Our Heart, that we're having this talks during this Valentine's weekend. So I think we've heard a lot. I'm sure you've had an overload of information from each one of us. So let's do this not only for ourselves, of course, during this COVID-19 pandemic period, we have probably a little bit more time. So maybe we can devote this time, part of it, to exercise. And also we need to do this so that our bodies are stronger, and hopefully we'll be able to repel the virus, and not do it for ourselves, but also for our family members, and most of all to God. So once again, in behalf of BCBP Cebu, salamat kaayo. God bless you all. Happy Chinese New
Salamat.
Year and happy Valentine's. Thank you, everyone. God bless.
God bless.
Thank
Good
you.
morning.
Morning.